Today I want to share 5 tips and secrets that I've picked up in the past 3 months of owning a Tesla Model Y, and hopefully maybe one of them will help you out. If you've appreciated any of this content, please do leave a like and subscribe. I'll appreciate it, and I know the YouTube algorithm will appreciate it too. So the good and bad thing about a Tesla is that they don't really provide much of a manual. They provide a manual. Yeah, you can go in there and figure out what each of the buttons do. But there's some things that you just aren't told off the bat. And this will hopefully tell you a few of them. There's plenty of others, but these are, I guess you could say, there are 5 that really stand out to me over the past few months since I've owned it. A few days ago when it was a little bit warm here, I got in my car and to cool down the cabin, the Tesla started running AC, right? So I immediately wanted to turn it off just because I didn't want it flying on at the moment. And I held down the fan icon, and poof, it turns off. So there's tip number 1. If you want to quickly turn on or turn off your HVAC in your car, so your AC, your heat, whatever it might be, and you don't want to hit the fan button and then go to the on button in the settings, in the climate settings, you can just hold the fan icon and it'll zip, turn right off. So another one is ambient lighting. I didn't realize you could replace the ambient lighting bulbs, which are in the footwell and underneath the doors. So through some videos that I watched and just some tinkering around on my own, I realized you can just pop those out and replace them with a different color or with just a brighter white. And also there is a toggle for ambient lighting in the settings that sometimes for some reason gets disabled, either from a software update or from resetting the vehicle, which I sometimes do when you press and hold the steering wheel buttons for 5-10 seconds and then the vehicle reboots. I do that sometimes when I run into some Wi-Fi issues or if something gets buggy. Hold that down for 10 seconds and it reboots the car, reboots the OS. Sometimes when it does that, it doesn't remember the settings. That tends to be one of them. It's a good place to know and go toggle that. If you don't see your footwell lights on, then that's probably why. And by the way, I replaced mine with a blue color and I love it. It looks so good. There's plenty of places to go get those. You can get them on Amazon. I'll link a few below. But I picked a nice blue, popped out a few of the lights. It takes 2 seconds and off you go. Sometimes you're in your car, you want to get out for a second, but you also want to bring your phone with you, and you realize that when you get out of your Tesla, it will automatically lock itself, right? So the mirrors go in, it locks, and everything turns off. What if you just forgot something, you need to get out for 5 seconds, and you don't want to shut the car and have everything turn off? Well, you can just gently press the door just a tiny bit until you hear a little click, and the door will be shut enough, but it won't turn off all of the systems inside. Your AC or your heat will keep running, your music will keep playing, everything else will stay just like you're sitting in the car still, even if you have your phone on you. So your car will not auto lock itself is my point. So I picked it up from Bjorn Nyland, who's Tesla Bjorn, and in a lot of his videos he shows how he gets out of his Tesla and he just slightly shuts the door and doesn't fully shut it because he doesn't want it to lock down like that. So it's a handy little trick. I use it here and there. Might as well give it a shot. Maybe it'll come useful for you. Another one is the flexible sound settings. If you go into sound, or if you're in the sound panel, you click on the little gear icon, or you touch a little gear icon, and you can go to balance. There's a balance tab, and it'll make it so that you can move the sound to the front, back, sides. Usually there's not much of a need for that, but the way that Tesla does their audio is that they have a fair amount of speakers in the front. If you notice, they have some on the pillars, they have a few in the front that you can't see, and they're all the higher end, the tweeters, they're all the high end sounds. So for me, I just feel like it's a little bit high end. There's just a little bit too much, but it's a balance between that and the EQ that you can mess with on your own, which can also turn down the high end. But if you do feel like it's a little bit front heavy, which I feel like there's just a tiny bit too much sound coming from the front and not enough coming from the back. It's really subtle, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the default settings. I actually left it like that for a while. And sometimes, depending on the music too, I might just adjust it and pull that balance back a hair. And just pulling it back a hair actually does make it so that it does seem like it's a little bit more enveloping. So the last one is a big one, and these aren't in any order, as you can probably tell, but the last one's a big one for me. When I first got my Model Y, I didn't realize it didn't come with a spare tire. So I was thinking, how the hell am I going to get around a flat tire or a problem if a problem occurs and I have to rely on Tesla roadside or whatever roadside service you might use? That's great, and they're very responsive from what I understand, but it's always nice to be able to, have your own back in that case. So what I picked up was this mini compressor from Amazon. They're like 30 bucks, and you can just store them in the back in one of the side compartments. It plugs into your 12 volt, and then you can connect it to your obviously you can connect the compressor tube to your tire. And just in case you get a flat and you need to just get that extra few miles to a gas station or whatever it might be, you can just plug it in, get yourself some air in there, and hopefully that'll be enough to get you moving so you're not riding on your rim too long. So that's a little something you will want to get, whether it's the one that Tesla offers or if it's one that's cheaper from Amazon. Just get something just as insurance for any problems that might occur with the tires since you don't have a spare. The last bonus tip I have is related to brights at night. When you're driving along, you're flicking your brights on and off as the street allows, right? If there's no one in front of you, you turn your brights on. If no one's coming at you, you turn your brights on. There's an automatic way to do that is really hard to tell how to enable to begin with. But if while your lights are on, you gently press the left stalk next to your steering wheel in, it will activate you'll see a little automatic icon where your lights are, right above it. And that will show you that Tesla will take over the automated brights for you. And it does a pretty good job. There haven't been that many times where I felt like it turned brights on when it shouldn't have, and it recognizes false lights pretty well. So there's a little tip for you to make your nighttime driving a little bit more pleasant.